Welcome to Logan Explorers, the podcast where we dig into the history that built the towns we drive through every single day, but rarely stop to truly understand. Today, we're heading to a city that sits at one of the busiest crossroads in North Carolina, a city where frontier settlers carved homes out of wilderness, where railroads reshaped the economy, where fire nearly erased downtown, where Civil War loyalties ran deep, and where some say the past never fully left. This is the story of Statesville, North Carolina. Long before highways, before brick storefronts, before the name Statesville ever existed, this land belonged to native tribes, primarily the Catawba. Dense forests, rolling hills, waterways cut through untouched wilderness. By the mid 1700s, Scotch, Irish, and German settlers began pushing west into what was then Rowan County. They called this place Fourth Creek Settlement, named after a nearby tributary. Life here wasn't comfortable. Cabins, mud roads, isolation. But these settlers weren't just surviving, they were planting something permanent. In 1789, just years after the Revolutionary War, Rowan County was divided. A new county was formed, Iredell County, and Fourth Creek Settlement became the county seat. The town was renamed Statesville, honoring the new United States and its freshly ratified Constitution. This wasn't just a name change, it was identity. Statesville was no longer a backwoods settlement, it was a symbol of a new nation pushing westward. For decades, Statesville grew slowly as an agricultural hub. Tobacco, corn, cotton. But in 1858, everything changed. The Western North Carolina Railroad arrived, and overnight, Statesville was no longer isolated. Rail lines meant trade, trade meant money, money meant growth. Warehouses rose, hotels filled, merchants prospered. The sound of locomotives became the heartbeat of the town. When the Civil War broke out in 1861, Statesville sided with the Confederacy. Local men enlisted, families waited, tension hung heavy. Though no major battle destroyed the town, the war left its mark. After 1865, Reconstruction reshaped society. African Americans began building lives under the weight of segregation laws. The wounds of war didn't disappear when the guns fell silent. They lingered. Some would argue they still do. In 1894, disaster struck. A massive fire tore through downtown Statesville. Wooden buildings burned fast. Businesses collapsed. Smoke swallowed the skyline. It could have ended the town's momentum, but instead, it transformed it. When Statesville rebuilt, it rebuilt in brick. And much of the historic downtown you see today, it exists because of that fire. Sometimes destruction becomes preservation. Now let's talk about something Statesville locals whisper about. Because old brick buildings, railroad towns, Civil War cities, they tend to carry stories. One of the most infamous sites in the area was the old Iredell County Jail. Public hangings were once held here in the 1800s. Executions were community events, crowd gathering in silence. Some say the energy of those final moments never left. There are reports of cold spots in historic buildings, footsteps in empty hallways, lights flickering with no explanation, the feeling of being watched. The old courthouse and surrounding downtown buildings are frequent subjects of ghost stories, whether you believe in hauntings or not. When you Walk those brick sidewalks at night, it's hard not to feel the weight of history. Now, here's something fascinating: the legend of Tom Dula. Yes, the man behind the folk song, Hang Down Your Head, Tom Dooley, has deep roots in this region. Dula was tried and eventually executed in Iredell County in 1868 for the murder of Laura Foster. His trial drew huge public attention. Crowds gathered, newspapers followed every detail. His hanging became one of the most talked about events in the region's history. Some believe he was innocent, others insist justice was served. But his execution cemented Iredell County and Statesville into American folklore forever. By the late 1800s and early 1900s, tobacco dominated the local economy. The Statesville tobacco market became one of the largest in North Carolina. Textile mills followed. Electricity arrived in 1891. Streetlights glowed. Downtown bustled after dark. Statesville was modernizing fast. The railroad once built Statesville, but the interstate system superchanged it. With the construction of Interstate 40 and Interstate 77, Statesville became a major transportation crossroads, north to south, east to west, truck routes, distribution centers, warehouses. Today, logistics is one of the city's economic lifelines. Location became destiny. Like much of the South, the 1960s brought tension and transformation. Segregation laws were dismantled, schools integrated, communities adjusted. It wasn't easy, but it reshaped the social landscape of Statesville permanently. Today, Statesville blends 18th century foundation, 19th century brick architecture, 20th century industry, 21st century logistics and growth. Events like the Carolina Balloon Fest draw thousands. Downtown revitalization keeps history alive. It's a city that never stopped adapting. So, what is Statesville really? It's a frontier settlement turned country county seat, a railroad boomtown, a Civil War supporter, a city rebuilt from fire, a crossroads of interstates, a place of execution, folklore, whispered hauntings, and resilience. Because there's one theme that defines Statesville, it's this: every time history tried to slow it down, war, fire, economic shifts, it adapted, it rebuilt, it moved forward. And maybe that's why when you walk those old brick streets at night, you don't just feel history, you feel layers of it. This has been Logan Explorers, and I'll see you in the next town. Thank you for listening.